What's going on, y'all? It's JD Piquel. Today on CFB with JD, number 7 Michigan State is going to Columbus to play the number 4 ranked Buckeyes, the People's Choice Game of the Week. Welcome into CFB with JD, the People's channel on YouTube for everything college football content. I sit in the chair, y'all drive the show. Jack McKenzie, Armstrong Sims, they do the heavy lifting. One prime example of us being the People's channel on YouTube, we give y'all the voice to pick the game of the week, week in and week out. Every single week, every single Monday, there is a poll on my Twitter at JD Piquel. Follow if you haven't. And you can vote on the game of the week that you want to see broken down. This week, we had a record number of votes, 133. It's a record for us. I mean, if you don't think that's a lot, that's fine. That's a lot for us. It's a record, in fact. 133 votes, 73% of y'all said you wanted to see this game broken down. So here we are, getting right to it. Michigan State at Ohio State. Ohio State is favored by 19 points. It's a lot of freaking points, okay? We'll get to that in a second. That's a lot of points. I don't know how that number is so big, but I guess the people in Vegas really like Ohio State. Ohio State just throttled a number 19 ranked Purdue, to be fair, 59-31. CJ Stroud, he's looking like a Heisman caliber quarterback. They're firing on all cylinders at pretty much every area of this Ohio State offense. I was going down the team rankings statistical breakdown, and you just look at the rankings for where Ohio State is in the country in regards to different categories, and it just is first. I mean, it is absolutely unbelievable how dominant this Ohio State team has been since their loss to Oregon. They looked a little bit shaky against Nebraska, but this has been a completely new team. CJ Stroud has been a completely new quarterback. He's number 1 in the country in QBR. This offense is scoring 46.3 points a game. Again, best in the country. Michigan State, they just beat Maryland 40-21. Now, they had a tough loss to Purdue when they were unranked, so that's going to sit a little bit different with the committee than it would if they lost to a ranked Purdue. I digress. Michigan State, number 7 in the country, behind a number 6 ranked Michigan, who they beat, which is another video for another time. We did the CFP with JD, which is on this channel. If you haven't yet, go check that out. But something interesting about Michigan State, their opponent rushes 38% of the time. Which you say, well, okay, well, why does that matter? That's the least amount of run. How do you say this? Nobody else runs the ball against a team less than they do against Michigan State. Okay, meaning you are throwing the football a lot. So that can mean 2 things. One means you're having a lot of success on the back end, throwing the ball, or it means you're having no success running the ball and you abandon that. Probably a little bit of both if you're Michigan State. Giving up 3.3 yards a carry, best for 15 in the country. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, they're explosive. They got Jaden Reed, who's going to need to have a big game in this one, going to be able to have to be two-dimensional to try and challenge Ohio State. Jalen Naylor, another big play threat, stick of dynamite from Michigan State. He is, I'll say he's questionable. There's no official report that he's questionable, but I'll say he's questionable. They're not talking about his injury. I have a hunch he plays in this game. He left the Michigan game with a hand injury. I have a hard time believing a guy like Jalen Naylor is missing this game. The People's Choice Game of the Week, Jalen, you're going to miss it on CFB with JD? You're going to miss that game? I don't think so. I wouldn't put it past him. Kenneth Walker looking like a Heisman candidate, 1,400 yards, 17 touchdowns, 6.5 yards a clip. For Michigan State to be successful in this game, they need him to be rolling. Against an Ohio State Ohio State defense, I should say, that is very, very stingy. They don't allow much in the trenches, so he's going to have his work cut out for them. So what happens for Kenneth Walker if he's not able to get going? Peyton Thorne, can you create? Can you get it to your playmakers? If Jalen Naylor's not playing, Jaden Reed, can you take the top off this defense? Because they're going to have to be two-dimensional against this Ohio State defense to have a chance. But here's the backbreaker. We mentioned 38% of the time the opponent is running the ball against Michigan State. Well, on the flip side of that, like I mentioned, maybe you're having some success throwing the football against Michigan State. Michigan State is giving up 350 yards through the air. Secondary is hurting, y'all. The secondary is hurting. On the flip side, Ohio State, they're throwing for 353 yards a game through the air. There's just too many players for Ohio State. Olave, Njigba, Wilson, who absolutely popped last week against Purdue. Like, there are so many guys in this receiving corps for Ohio State that I think that's the backbreaker stat. You show that to mom and say, Mom, it's going to be a tough one for Michigan State in this one. It's going to be tough. And she'll understand, oh, yeah, Michigan State secondary is not very good. A lot of balls in Ohio State. I see how that could be. Ryan Day, I just trust him too much in November. Michigan State, phenomenal story. I love Michigan State. I love what they've done so far. Mel Tucker is running a phenomenal program. If he leaves Michigan State, I think he's a great fit for a lot of other great jobs. I'm not lobbying for that. My pick is Ohio State. For reasons I just said. Too much through the air for the Buckeyes. They have too many ballers at receiver, and Michigan State is just a real liability in the secondary. Not enough to match with them. Too many horses for Ohio State. I take Ohio State. I don't know if they cover the 19. 19 feels like a lot. Like I said when I started this video, I don't know how this number is so big, but if it is, CJ Stroud's going to have something like 6 touchdowns, 400 yards. And that's not a stretch based on the numbers they're averaging right now. Ohio State wins, take that one to the bank, but not plus 19. Or no, take plus 19 to the bank, not minus 19. That's it for us here at CFB with JD. Again, we do a People's Choice Game of the Week every single week, so follow me on Twitter, subscribe to the channel to stay up with everything we're doing here. You're not going to want to miss a video or a minute of a video. We will keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time.